Hey, it's Thursday, January 20th. I'm doing some analysis videos on different stocks, and I think I'll do one more here on Facebook. And this one is interesting because there's a couple of things that are, I'm not going to say confusing, but it's tricky as to what Facebook's really trying to go in the bigger picture. That said, there are some still very good setups, and you kind of know what's happening day to day and week to week. So let's get into it. This is the daily chart on Facebook. Let's first go to the monthly chart because that's where things really start. And actually, they start at the yearly chart. I can show you that at the end. We're still in an uptrend. In other words, there's nothing really threatening that at the moment in terms of the big picture on the yearly chart, the uptrend. But you're really not going to get, now that we've come down here, on the monthly chart a little bit, and we're starting the year a little red, we're going to have to get something turning around to eventually take out those all-time highs. So we're not really starting that yet either. But let's just see what's going on in the shorter term. So monthly right now, here's the interesting thing with Facebook. You can see here what's been happening for the last 4 months is we did come down on the big red bar. We had a 2 down. Then all of a sudden we had a 2 up, but that didn't really reach this monthly target before it eventually turned down again, and we brought it a little lower. And let me see here. Yeah, this was the target on this move down, and we hit that. Then we brought into the upside. Now this one on this month, last month, we should have had a 50% rule. We started down lower, and then we came up to the 50% of that bar, and then we're trying to target, that should have been a 3 bar to the upside, and then you kind of look for a 3-2 continuation to see if you can take out the all-time highs. But what happened was we never reached this target, and I'll show you why, on the weekly chart, what signaled that wasn't going to happen. That's what you look for as you're heading up to a monthly target. And now we're kind of starting back down. So the question is, are we going to, at this point, I wouldn't even necessarily call this a target, because you're just now forming an inside bar on this month. So it's hard to say what's going to happen. What seems to be developing with only a week or so left is we might form an inside month here. And then what's going to be important is to see how we get out of that, whether we head up in February, the inside up or an inside down to take out that point. This becomes a target if we go up, and if we break down, then this becomes a target. That's what I see happening right now. But there are shorter term targets in place. So let's kind of see what's developing, because there's still some good trades. So when we go to the weekly chart, this is what I was showing you. This is a big weekly, as we were trying to target out the 50% rule on the monthly chart and take out those highs. That's what you're expecting. You get a bit, we came very close, but then you get a big weekly reversal. So right here, this is the bar where all of a sudden you kind of expecting a weekly 2 down, because this type of shooter bar with the close right near the end of the week, near the lows, you're going to expect that to be taken out, and that forms a 2 down. At that point, you're targeting right here this next weekly low, and if that gets taken out, then you're going to target this weekly low. And again, you start targeting these in the bigger picture until the weekly chart turns up again, at which point we might start targeting these various highs. And that could happen at any time, but it's not happening yet. So now I drew this red line. That's where the weekly chart was going to form a 2 down, and that's where you were going to target this first blue line, target low. So let's go see what happened here on the daily chart, how that developed. So here's the the red line where it broke down, daily, weekly 2 down, and here was the target. So you kind of broke down here, it looks like on maybe Tuesday of that week. And then at that point, you can get short. There's all kinds of things. I could see a great day trade here on this next day below the midpoint of that day, heading lower, probably opened up with a weak 15-minute bar. So you can definitely get short, expecting that prior low to be taken out. And then we know the target is really down here. Now, what happened was, I could see we came down here. We just missed it. And on this day, I think we just missed it as well. And you kind of had this green day, but you're still thinking short. So, at some point, this wouldn't have been a day to go short, because it's not a strat thing. Here's now an inside day. So you would get short, if depending on how price action opened down here. And we did come out and take that target out. It looks like Monday of the next week. So eventually we got down there and we formed, we hit that target. And what it is, it's the first day of the week, and you can see here on this weekly chart we are breaking down. So you're kind of now targeting this. That's the new target to look for on the weekly chart back here. But what happens is the day kind of reverses. where is it? Oh, right here. Yeah, I mean, we came down, it looks like, and then you get like a big reversal up by the end of the day. So you kind of know at that point, you're not going to really be heading towards this target unless you get a 2 down, which is not likely with this type of bar. So you kind of got to watch the next day. Now, here's the thing. As long as we don't reverse on a weekly basis, we're still looking for a rollover to come back down and eventually work towards this target. That's still in play, even when you get a big, up day like this right here. So you can see on the weekly chart, this particular week, you can see we kind of got green for a couple of days, but we never really took out the midpoint of that bar, and it was close. That's why it became a little tricky, but essentially this is the area you expect it to kind of, roll over, and it did, and then, now we're starting down again. So that's what I want you to keep in mind as you look at that. You come right up here to the point where this is the kind of the key moment of truth, is the weekly chart going to reverse, and then into next week, you can get excited to start buying again. But since it didn't, you had the 2 down here. This was a great sell day right here. And once you get this sell day right here, 2 up, 2 down, in line with the bigger picture. We're still targeting down here. You got to keep that in mind. But our first target is this daily low, which it looks like it just missed that day, but then it hit it the next day. Then this daily low that's why I put this line in here, because now once you break down here, you're looking for this target to be taken out. So then, this day kind of, it looks like it was it started open lower, but then it moved up on the day, but it's still a downtrend. So you're not probably doing anything short on this day because you have a green bar, and I'm sure the 15-minute bars were all heading up, and there's probably no reversal. Here though was the day 2 down, if you're in the position from back here and still targeting down here, you're holding on. But on, where is it here? This day we started lower and started down towards that target. I think let me look here, my eyes. Yeah, we just missed it again. So, it's a little frustrating because that this target should be taken out on the daily from this entry back here. And then once that triggers, that should be heading to this weekly target. So what happened was Facebook kind of tried to get a 2 up day going here, but it failed. So this is kind of an exciting day to get short again. And you can see here, we gapped down or where do we open? Right here. And it looked like we started up and then it failed. And this was actually the 50% kind of rule where you failed on the 2 up. And when you came back down, this was a great re-entry short right here. Now you're taking out these last 2 days lows. You're looking to take out this low and you're still looking to go to this target. And you can see here on the 15-minute chart, it was that type of reversal day where you went up, you failed to make a 2 up, and then you come down to the 50%, part of that of yesterday's price to target yesterday's lows, and you did get the 3-day down. And now you're looking for a 3-2 continuation because you really know that this was the target all along, and you know that the weekly target's down here. So Facebook is clearly, at the moment, until conditions change, I feel this was a great short today, in my opinion, and it would be worth holding to break this bar and this bar. Now, if you take, I think we're going to take out this low for sure. Matter of fact, we did it overnight. Here's so we've kind of done that overnight. We're taking out that target. Now here's the weekly target. The question is this going to be, because Facebook is a little choppy, is this going to be the broadening day where you don't get down here, maybe get some kind of, just a neutral day tomorrow and then a 2 up. And then all of a sudden before, this weekly chart, which will start next week, tomorrow's Friday, you'll have to see if you get, you're going to have to get a 2 up week in order to change the whole continuity. But if you don't get anything like that, if we kind of close, maybe we'll head down big tomorrow, I don't know, or maybe we'll just close somewhere in here. And then by next week, we're still, as long as this weekly bar doesn't reverse up, we're still looking for next week to head down to this target. And then you can see here, is this the weekly chart? Once you get that target, then the next target's down here and so on and so forth. So I like, and then on the monthly chart, we're just going to have to see, it would be hard to get a 2 down, but I guess if we hit this first target, that second target, if we get down there, is actually going to be the 2 down on the month. So once we get down here, if we do, then that could be exciting to kind of say, hey, we're going to really hit this next weekly target, which will trigger the monthly 2 down. And at that point, then you kind of have to really see some kind of reversal on the weekly chart that might begin some kind of new monthly. So, monthly move up. So bottom line is Facebook isn't breaking down quite yet like the other stocks, but it is possible. It might be late in doing so. We'll have to see. At least at the very short term, we're taking out this target. So it's going to be real interesting to see on Friday tomorrow. Do we really continue lower to this target, which I'm still expecting, or is it to become a day where it kind of stalls and then maybe gets the very first 2-day up, which could be broadening action that might be starting higher. But in order to confirm that, you're going to have the weekly chart, turning up as well. So you got to kind of watch it hand in hand, weekly chart, daily. But for now, definitely down. And today, again, I thought it was a very good short. Here was a great short trade in this condition. Here was a great short trade today. We would take out the target, and now we just got, again, I'm still thinking these two targets until something changes. But, Facebook, it is one of it's not collapsing as much as some of the other stocks, so you kind of keep that in mind. I don't know. It's interesting because I don't know if that means it's really stronger, or I don't know if that means it's just delayed and falling like the other one. So we'll see, but that's Facebook.